This week I've been driving the 2025 slightly refreshed Acura RDX. This is the A-Spec Advanced package going over $50,000. Today we're picking up the kids. I've already been picking up the kids all this week in this vehicle. I'll tell you all the good things, maybe the not so great things I found about this vehicle. And stay to the end because I'll tell you if the Acura RDX is a good buy. I'm going to compare it to all the other cars I've driven so far in 2025 and reviewed. All right, so we have a new paint color. This is Urban Gray Pearl. I believe there's also a blue river color. It always escapes me, like Blue Canyon something. That's a new color also for 2025. So let's look at the front end. It's a frameless diamond Pentagon grille. So the grille actually appears bigger here because it doesn't have that big bezel on the edges. It looks much more similar to the 25 MDX refresh. The TLX refresh has it, and I think the new Integra has a frameless, and even the ADX. I think pretty much all of the Acuras, maybe not the ZDX, I'm trying to remember the ZDX, but anyways. All right, so these vertical slots here look great compared to the years past when this vehicle came out in 2019 or so. Kind of the lobster claws in the corner. This just looks so much more tidy and sportier at the same time. We have still the JewelEye headlight with the Chicane style daytime running lights, and then down below you have fog lights. Moving to the side. All right, this A-Spec Advance has the biggest wheels you can get on this. Your 20-inch wheels. I want to say the standard wheels are 19s. A-Spec badge. All right, glossy accents. So we got glossy window surround, glossy bezel here at the bottom. Even on the base model for 2025, all the accents are glossy black. Glossy door handles. Get into the back now. We still have these incandescent bulbs, it looks like, for the turn signals. So let's go and turn those on. So up front, you know, the turn indicator is right here. Looks real sharp. Gosh, there's how many headlights in here? 7 different headlights. 4 for low beam, it looks like, and 3 for high beam. As you come to the rear, I mean, come on, Acura. That should be an LED light. You know, some of you might be saying, Kirk, I love these incandescent bulbs because they're cheap and easy to change out. Yeah, but this is a premium car. It shouldn't be cheap, right? I love the fat twin exhaust on here. Looks absolutely great. Super handling all-wheel drive is standard. All right, before we get into the back, let's open the hood, because when we're talking precision crafted performance from Acura, the A-Spec badge here, we need to talk about the performance underneath the hood, okay? Underneath the hood should be very familiar to Honda and Acura fans. 2-liter, turbocharged, 272 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque, made it to Honda's in-house 10-speed automatic. Like I mentioned, super handling all-wheel drive is standard now. So even if you get the base model, you're still getting the same performance. However, this A-Spec Advanced package, I don't want to say the trim right below this, they have adaptive dampers. So that, you know, has, in theory, more performance for handling and ride quality. All right, I'm only seeing about 19 miles per gallon in the city on this thing. It's not the most efficient, but it has other redeeming qualities that you'll find out once we start driving. 360 camera, of course, on this top end model. And let's go and get into the cargo space. That's one of the greatest things about the RDX compared to much of its competition. And you can say all crossovers have great cargo space, but the RDX might take the cake. I mean, it's just huge back here. Pulling this up, also underfloor storage. That probably means there's more underfloor storage over there, and there's a fix-a-flat kit looking over there. There's no spare tire here on the RDX. You can pull down the rear seats with those 2 levers. This does have the old school ELS audio in here, which still sounds fantastic, but a lot of the other Acura models have been going to the, I think the Bang & Olufsen modern sound systems. Okay, we also have smart key access on the front and rear. Yes, it's equipped for the kids. Armrest here, suede. We also have USB-Cs down here. That's a big update for 2025, I believe. Heated outboard seats on this top of the line trim. Materials, suede, leather, soft touch up top. You know, it's a plastic speaker grill. It's not aluminum because it doesn't feel cold to the touch, but it still looks great. Now getting on the inside, RDX, tons of legroom. That's never been an issue here on this vehicle, at least when it got redesigned in 2018, 2019. Tons of headroom. I even have a speaker up here. Let's look at this panel roof. What are your guests going to be looking at when they drive or sit in the back of this vehicle? Well, this panel opens up, so you got a huge sunroof. It's massive, and I want to say this has been standard on the RDX since it got redesigned, this big old panel roof, which I'm a big fan of. However, here in Florida, yes, I can see the Gulf of Mexico way back there. It's not actually way back there. It looks like it's way back there on this wide angle camera. It's actually really, really close. And since I'm up high, I'm getting a ton of that ocean breeze up here. It's been fantastic filming up here. All right, same materials up here on the front, memory seats, A-spec skid plate here. This red Milano leather is quite nice. It'd been cool if we had A-spec, you know, embossed there on the headrest, but it is what it is. Heated and ventilated seats. We have a head-up display on this model, which I'm not sure if it's going to show up, but I also have dedicated buttons to make it brighter and change the positioning, which is great. Let's go and turn off that turn indicator. Auto brake hold is not memory, so I have to reapply that every time I get in the car. Seems to be like that for most Hondas. A-spec on the steering wheel, kind of a flat bottom. We got red stitching on the dash, some suede, soft touch. Now they did update the screen a little bit for 2025. I know it's blinking just a tad for you guys, but before, Android Auto would only go, it would stop here. And on this end of the screen, it would be for this touchpad. Okay, so for example, yep, I don't believe this is a touchscreen still to this day. So while it has got better with functionality, like, you know, none of this is touchscreen that I'm aware of. If you guys know a way to enable touchscreen in this car, let me know. You know, this screen needs to be brought up to the edge here and made a touchscreen. I don't know why they couldn't have done that. Right, so I just want to press Android Auto. It's not that far away, it's not that far out of reach, but anyways, there you have it. Android Auto now takes up the full screen. They also reworked this area, so the wireless charger is really close to me. That's great. They also reworked the storage area. I believe there's more storage, so now, I mean, I put a 6-pack of beer in here to show that how functional it is. Don't drink and drive. And then there's also a USB-C down there. I think you guys can see that. An additional power outlet. Here's a touchpad. I mean, ergonomics wise, my elbow's here, touchpad. So the touchpad is fine for the inbuilt software, but the touchpad absolutely stinks for Android Auto. So if you need to use Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, just use, you know, take me to Dairy Queen.
There's a Dairy Queen grill and chill 2 miles away.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna have to do. No, thank you. You're just gonna have to, you know, use voice a lot. All right, volume knob. Okay, well, here's the thing. Before I get into this, I'm already getting blinded by this. This is all glossy reflective. I get blinded by. This is all aluminum. I get blinded by. I've been blinded by a lot of surfaces in here. So it's unfortunate that this is all glossy black. It also collects fingerprints and dust very easily. Besides that, I really like the dedicated buttons for heated ventilated seats and climate control. It's been great. The push button-ish for drive is fine. It's just kind of out of the way. I prefer this whole setup better in the Honda Odyssey I've been driving, and also gives us more space here. But that has a touchscreen, so that also negate you, like once you have a touchscreen, you don't need this anymore, and that's why the MDX got rid of it. You can have more space, and it gives us a better experience overall. Cup holders here, there's a deep one and a shallow one. Lifting up the nice armrest, there's a USB-A in here, which is a data port, which is kind of letting you know that the bones of this vehicle are getting kind of old. All right, behind the steering wheel, also feeling a little bit old now since it doesn't have the fully digital 10-inch screen that we see in a lot of other Honda and Acura products. We have, well, a physical tach. I don't mind physical tachs. Here's the thing, the problem with this, red does not, it's not that visible on this silver background. If it was black, it would look better. And I like the tachs that glow red here, or, you know, the needles that glow red, but, you know, it's just not the most visible. So I rely on the head-up display a lot for my speed because, in my opinion, you know, anyways, that's just finding something to complain about, but they are not the most legible. All right, heated steering wheel, if I didn't mention that, and you can pull up lots of different data here on the screen, current speed, navigation, you know, super handling all-wheel drive, which will send 70% of available torque to the rear wheels and 100% of that available torque to the outside wheel if need be. All right, or to the wheel that needs the traction, or that has a traction, I should say. Also, auto dimming rearview mirror. We have a foam line sunglass holder there. And yeah, let's go and start driving the Acura RDX. All right, first thing, let's get into the brakes as we come down the parking ramp, I love the brakes in here. They're fantastic. They're very predictable. They have a good response to them. I am happy. From a performance perspective, a great brake feel, great response. All right, but we're gonna have to flip a U here to get to where we wanna go. All right, so let's talk about the handling. I could flip it into sport mode, which is with the adaptive dampers. It does stiffen up quite nicely, and it has a much far more aggressive throttle response than normal mode. And back into those fantastic brakes. All right, here's one of my gripes with the vehicle. All right, I love adaptive dampers. I don't like the idea that I have to be in sport mode to use the stiffer suspension setting. You know, a lot of other Honda and Acura models, there's an individual mode where I can custom, like I think even the ADX has an individual mode, for example. Okay, here we go. In an individual mode, I could stiffen up the dampers and have a more relaxed throttle response and a stiffer steering if I wanted it. And I could kill the additional engine noise we get here in sport mode. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the pumped-in engine noise. And here are the downshifts, okay, which the downshifts are actually quite good here. The paddle shifters, I should say. So back into the throttle, this 10 speed. We could have been in a gear a little bit lower than that to start that acceleration run, but yeah, I haven't been driving it in sport mode all week. I think it's plenty responsive and plenty peppy enough in normal mode without giving me all the additional noise of this 4-cylinder. It's not a bad noise, I just don't need it. And so the RDX I found after driving it this week is that it's not a really good performance SUV. It's a good luxury SUV. Like, honestly, the vehicle feels really heavy, very solid, like a good luxury vehicle should. When you throw it in the turns, it does feel quite heavy, but again, I'm always in like normal mode. So it's not in the stiffest setting, but I get enough of the engine performance in normal mode, and I get a really soft ride quality in normal mode. If this normal mode is what the standard mode, or should I say the standard models feel like, I mean, I don't feel like I'd be missing out for having, you know, stiffer suspension in sport mode here with the adaptive dampers. So that's my thoughts on that. You know, I already said about the touchscreen. The touchscreen, well, the lack thereof, it's just such a strange decision to update this car for 2026 to give us a little bit better functionality, but still be locked out from having a touchscreen. It's a bit weird. Now, comfort in here has been great this week. I find these seats very comfortable. I like the ventilation. There's no massaging seats, but I'm okay with that. It does feel a bit Honda, this vehicle. And what do I mean by that? Well, Honda is, you know, they have good handling, but they can be a bit vanilla. So if you missed my review on the Pilot this year, the Pilot was just so vanilla that it's just like, you know, it doesn't stand out, but it's just like, you know, it's a solid meal. It's a good meal, it's a healthy meal, but no one's ever going to rave about it. And that's how the Pilot felt. How does this feel as a luxury crossover? It feels like this, it has the same soul, just a different body. All right, so I wish this had, well, one, I wish it was lighter, but I wish this had just more charisma to it. All right, the ADX does not have the charisma. The only vehicle, the only crossover, well, I should say the two. All right, the ZDX has a little bit more charisma as it has almost 500 horsepower in an EV, but it's not really, yes, it's an Acura, but it's not an Acura. I don't want to go down that path. The MDX Type S is still by far the best, and I'm getting a phone call right now. All right, so the cool thing is that on my head-up display, when I was getting that phone call, it told me the number. All right, now if you have that contact saved to your phone, it'll tell you the contact. So I really like this head-up display. It also gives you turn-by-turn navigation, I believe, when you have Android Auto selected. So it's a really good head-up display. I love it. It's bright. It's huge font. It's really, really good. I give it like a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. All right. Now this does have engine start-stop technology. The engine just killed off. It's not that annoying, to be honest. But when it's this hot, I mean, it says 78 outside. With this glass roof, it feels more like 98. So the AC does need to work pretty hard in here, and the AC I would say is okay. I drove a much more expensive vehicle compared to this last week, and that was the Audi SQ6 e-tron. That cost, what was that, like $83,000? You know, about $30,000 more than this vehicle. I enjoy driving this more than that Audi e-tron. All right, so take that for what it's worth. I think, you know, just because I have the ventilated seats here and that vehicle didn't, because it was optional since I had the massaging seats. You can't have massaging and ventilated seats on the Audi. So I've just been really appreciating this car and how simple and intuitive and easy it is to drive. And guys, it's a good looking luxury vehicle. The engine is the sport, excuse me, the engine is the sportiest part about it, as well as the transmission. I love how smooth the shifts are, but the shifts, it's not like the sport tune transmission that you see in like the TLX and MDX Type S. Those are beefed up a little bit more faster shifting. This one's a little bit more luxury focused. It's a softer shifting transmission. And it's a very good luxury car. This feels like an excellent luxury car with, like, I don't know, a sport package on it. It's really not that sporty. Like going over speed bumps, going over things, like the suspension in here is just very soft and very comfortable. All right, so the RDX, I'll probably just end it here. RDX could stand to have a hybrid. Well, I don't need to talk about that. Acura's needed their hybrids ever since they discontinued their hybrids. So let's get back into the office and summarize this vehicle. Is it a good buy at its MSRP? Are there any deals to be had? And how does it compare against other cars I've reviewed so far in 2025? I think I'm making good time because the kids' pickup is at 3. It's 2:37. I'm about 10 minutes away depending on traffic, so I'm doing okay. We've made good time here in the RDX, and it's been a pleasure to drive this week. All right, there are about 340 RDX models within 150 miles of where I live. I believe they're all 2025s at this point when I was sifting through here. So they're able to move through the inventory quite quick. Now, if I look at sales, Honda's sales have been a little bit down on the RDX this year. They had a decent year last year, nice bounce back year, but sales are down about 12% on a volume basis. Okay, so they might be inventory strapped a little bit, so you're probably not going to see amazing deals on the RDX. It's made at the East Liberty Auto Plant in Ohio. Okay, so it's not going to be majorly affected, if at all, by the tariffs. To some degree, maybe with the smaller parts, but at least here and the now, it's not affected whatsoever. And the low production volume seemingly on this vehicle, there's probably not going to be massive deals. Now, I think the sweet spot for the RDX is actually the base model. I think the base model looks just as good. In fact, I like the wheels better on the base model than I do the A-Spec models. So, guys, you can get a really impressive looking RDX with a nice light interior here for the mid-40s. I think that's the sweet spot. Once you go over 50, for me, I'm going to be comparing a lot of different models over $50,000. All right, so around $45,000. I know, after destination here to show you guys. After destination, these things retail for like 46, but if you can get it for 45, a small discount, it's a good deal. Under 50K, the RDX is a good deal in my opinion. Now, the ride quality might change a little bit, maybe for the better, because I don't know, it just felt so soft in my driving of the vehicle this week. Very, very soft suspension for performance. Crossover, I want a lot more rigidity in the handling and the chassis. All right, so where is the RDX on the list of best cars of the year? Well, it's not to take my money. It's not even an excellent purchase, just because, luxury cars, they're a tough sell. All right, for me. All right, so this is my very biased list. Is it a fire sale only? No, it's a solid car. It's just a solid buy. That's all there is to it. Okay, would I pick a Nissan Murano over it? Well, Murano's a lot cheaper, and you get similar-ish performance. The all-wheel drive system in the Acura is a lot better. Murano might, you know, have an edge in terms of the looks. That's awfully subjective, but this is where the RDX becomes a tougher sell, because at $45,000, $46,000, you could save several thousands of dollars, 6, 7, 8 grand, and get a CX-5 turbo. It's maybe not quite as big or as spacious as the RDX, but I think it handles every bit as good. The build quality is every bit as good. It maybe, I mean, this one's built in Japan. You know, the power and the performance is on par, in my opinion. And the looks are on par, maybe even slightly better for the Mazda. So that's the thing. The Mazda is a luxury car killer. You know, once this has a hybrid in a couple of years, it's going to really, really be hard to take down. All right, because it is so premium, it drives so well. It's very luxurious at the same time. You know, the RDX is a good buy. It's a good car. I really enjoy driving it. You know, maybe some things are getting a little dated with the dash, and maybe, you know, the rotary dial, drive mode select, and the touchpad. None of that really annoyed me this week. It's a really good car. It's a good buy. A lot of other cars out there that I think I would be spending my $45,000 on. But if you chose the Acura, I don't think you would be disappointed, other than fuel economy. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more Acura coverage. Later this year, we'll have the RSX revival, and naming only because it's not a two-door coupe. It's an electric coupe crossover. It's crazy. Anyways, thank you guys. Stay tuned for more Honda and Acura coverage here on the channel. Peace out.